Have you ever wondered if there is more to the no-tell motel? Well, if you've ever thought that, I've also thought that. So today what we're going to be doing is breaking the boundaries of the no-tell motel in Cyberpunk, flying behind some locked doors, getting to some places which we can't usually get to see if there is indeed anything going on underneath the surface. And of course, before we get into today's video, if you do enjoy this kind of content, please do consider subscribing. And if you want some nice signed autographs from the Cyberpunk 2077 and Edge Runners team, so voice actors from the game and the anime, follow the link in this video's description to get yourself some sweet merch. So you can go to the no-tell motel at pretty much any time in free roam. It doesn't get locked off once you've done a mission. The first part of the no-tell motel, which I personally find extremely interesting, is located just to the left of the entrance. And if you make your way through this room, you can find basically just a big load of shit and also a fire escape which you can actually open, and it takes you out to the side of the building. I find this location particularly interesting because there isn't actually any point in it existing. To my knowledge, this fire escape is never used for any kind of mission, and confusingly as well, we have what appears to be a garage door with a gigantic red light straight above it. Now this doesn't seem confusing until you actually work out what's on the other side of this garage door. You can see that the garage actually does not exist. There is a garage door which has been put in the interior that doesn't match up with the exterior. And this might seem like a fairly small thing to point out, and one could argue it's just for, thematics. It's just to make the interior look believable. And originally, perhaps there was supposed to be a garage door actually, on this side of the wall. And well, this is all but confirmed when you clip behind this wall and you can see that the garage door is actually here. Yeah, you can argue it's a pre-made model, it's going to be double-sided. So getting into the motel itself, we are originally presented with these broken elevators, and something about elevators in Cyberpunk just really interests me. I'm not sure why, it's probably the autism coming out, but I just want to say that these elevators, even if they are out of order, I don't think were ever supposed to be usable. For a start, these models are extremely different to the usable ones found in 2077, especially because there are no elevator panels which are in the style of the usable ones. These are actually wholly unique to my knowledge, so that's pretty cool. The shape of the actual building does seem to suggest that elevators are a part of the infrastructure, because these big glass tubes are basically where the elevator would go up. If you clip behind these elevators, you can see that you're in the space. There's nothing actually here, but I would say surprisingly it works pretty goddamn well. And leading on from the elevators, we have our first corridor. I have a nice little flashlight just to make this a little bit easier. What I will say straight away is that none of these rooms actually do exist. In fact, the easiest way to look at it is by going through the corridor itself. So you can see that this is the corridor where we just were, and behind these doors we have nothing. So there was no, additional interiors to this place apart from this place, but we don't have to talk about this. But yeah, ultimately this corridor, again, just like the elevators, is here for an aesthetic, and I think it serves a purpose. Right at the end of this corridor is actually the room where you end up with Dexter Deshawn. You can't actually come back into this area. Dexter Deshawn is not in here because he's fucking dead. If you no-clip through this door as well, it does actually end up opening. Risk of sounding like a broken record, all of these other rooms in this corridor do not exist. We have Dexter Deshawn's room and the little bathroom. That is it. So that covers this floor of the no-tell motel, and this is where things start to get a little bit interesting. This is where, you might start to quiver with anticipation. If you try and go up a level, you can see that this is actually blocked off by a locked gate. First of all, I want to point out that this gate looks like it should be usable, but I always feel like it should have some kind of prompt to, break it open, to hack it or anything like that, but there's just nothing. You can't do anything with it. However, if you clip behind it, this kind of confusion with a gate that looks to be usable is only further amplified because we're presented with yet another gate, and you can actually force open this gate. with 13 strength. And again, we find ourselves in an unused corridor of the Motel Motel. Is it haunted? It might be haunted. This place just gives me the fear. I think last time I made this video, I said that it strongly reminds me of American Horror Story. If you've ever watched, I forget what season it is, but it's the one with the hotel with Lady Gaga in it. The guy who built it in the 20s was just a serial killer. So he ended up, purposely building loads of corridors that, don't go anywhere, that go around in circles, loads of rooms that end up being bricked up because, they don't exist. So you get little examples of it like here where there's just no door, but just like this weird grey square that just, I don't know, it just makes me feel extremely uneasy. Maybe I'm just a bitch. Oh god, it's dark. But it's pretty cool that you can actually access this place if you have enough strength, and it just kind of begs the question, why? Was this level supposed to be usable? I mean, there's a very basic amount of detail, but chances are this is just for looks. But also it's pretty weird because you notice that the elevators actually begin to look pristine. Like there's no graffiti, there's no rubbish, there's actually nothing up here. One of these locked off gates also has this extra detailing behind it, one of these plastic sheets which actually doesn't have any physics applied to it. And again, there's nothing down these corridors, but this corridor in particular does actually have quite a bit of graffiti going down. It even has this extra bit of structure here. Bearing in mind this is pretty close to the ground floor, so I think it's pretty likely that this may have been planned at some point in development. You can follow these stairs up, and again, like, you can walk around this place pretty much no questions asked. Straight away we have another gate which again can be forced opened, so we can do that and fly our way down this corridor, which is just getting eerie. This is just too Shining-esque. I don't like it. On the flip side, we also have another gate which is just opposite where we were, which doesn't actually require a strength skill to open it. And even all the way down here, we actually have the ability to look out of a window. So this is a bit of extra detailing that I don't think is seen on the other floors. So again, why is that? Who knows? The level above, we again have another gate which we can force open. This is where things just start to get a little bit uncomfortable because, yet again we're facing basically empty corridors with nothing in them, weird flickering lights that make me feel a little bit uneasy. And here we are at the top level of the building. This is the very roof area of the Motel Motel, which, unlike the other floors, the other inaccessible floors, actually has perfectly working collision throughout the entirety of this space. And that is pretty much all of the inaccessible areas in the Motel Motel. I think it's a really cool location. I think the general consensus though from researching this online is that people are convinced the Motel Motel and particularly the betrayal with Dexter Deshawn was actually supposed to be a little bit more player controlled. In the release build of the game, you essentially end up here and then you get shot by Dexter Deshawn. That's it. However, a lot of people seem to believe that there was maybe an option to escape from him. Maybe there was some kind of alternate method of getting out of this situation, which could explain why that fire escape at the start of the video does actually exist. So who knows, maybe there was supposed to be more going on with the Motel Motel. At the end of the day, I'm just a layman, so what the hell do I know? But guys, I would really love to know what you think on the matter. So please do let me know in the comment section of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll catch you lot in a bit.